Welcome back to the morning
Yes.
show here on Arise News. It's time now to review headlines of today's newspapers. And of course, we'll start with This Day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The big story is the elections in Rivers State, the local government elections. And we have tension in Rivers as Fubara insists on local government polls.
Okay.
We also have the riders, pro-governors group, Occupy Resec. Police withdraw from election, cite court judgment. NBA condemns move. The IGP says we will not allow Fubara burn down the state. PDP backs polls. APP disowns factional group. Rivers elders express divergent views. Now, Steve, during the break, we were just talking about the fact that the police have withdrawn from the election, citing a court order.
Yeah.
And then, I'm just wondering what sort of court order would compel the police not to do their job?
Yeah.
How do you leave a state unprotected for any reason whatsoever?
It's very curious and unusual. We won't necessarily join Governor Sim Fubara in using caustic language, on the judgment, so-called. But of course, it is anti-people. It is anti the interest of peace and tranquility that you will have whatever the court ruling from the Abuja High Court is saying, that you will have it interpreted in the manner that the Nigerian police is interpreting it, which seems to suggest that, move everybody out of the streets, move everybody out of RCEC, and let the election, if it will go on at all, let it proceed the way they want. I think that it's a dangerous precedent. It is not something that we should applaud in any way, and we should come out strongly against it. The layman understanding of that judgment is not to say that the election should not proceed. They're just saying that the police should not be involved. But it does not mean that the police should therefore abdicate and abandon its constitutional responsibilities to look after, Rivers State or any other town where election. It shouldn't matter that election is taking place. We can't go into an important state like Rivers State and you won't find a police officer, doing his duty.
Well, of course, and the IGP saying that they will not allow the governor to burn down the state. Is this really about the governor or about the people maintaining law and order? It should be about, I really believe this should be about the people of Rivers State, not about the political gladiators, involved in this battle.
Absolutely, it should be, I think there are a few other key stories in there, but one that stands out for me will be the advice. That's the window story in today's Day, the advice from Bismarck, I believe, saying that things will have to be done differently if we don't want to stifle the economy and discourage borrowings. I think we can't say that enough, given the direction that the CBN is taking and the overall direction in terms of the economic reforms of this government. People are agonizing and businesses have been killed. NPR at 27% now, I believe. Nobody can borrow. Businesses can borrow. And I think that both the finance minister, who's also the coordinating minister of the economy, together with the CBN governor, who are the key strikers as far as the economic and monetary reforms of this administration is concerned, should listen to other people who seem to understand how things ought to work better. We can't proceed with economic reforms that impoverish people, that does not have a time when things will get better, and people just are struggling, to stay afloat. I think that window story is exceptionally important, and I think that people should listen.
Well, let's hope they do.
All right. Let's go to The Guardian, where the cover story is a bit different. It's not about the politics of Rivers State. It says NTB by 2030. That's The Guardian, the weekend edition of The Guardian, which is out today. NTB by 2020 with uncoordinated strategies, mission unaccomplished. is imminent. And I think that this is an important story outside of the political space, talking about the need to end the target of ending tuberculosis by year 2030. And the story that readers will encounter between pages 10 and 11 basically captures it to say that we don't coordinated strategies. And that's a strong word to use on the cover of a newspaper, that the mission unaccomplished is imminent. It looks to the Guardian that failure is staring us in the face if there is no change of course to end TB by 2030. This is 2024, 6 more years to go. Uncoordinated strategies, 2 ministers of health, but then it doesn't look like...
I mean, definitely, it's a very dire warning. And considering the fact, that Nigeria actually ranks first in Africa and 6th in the world when you're talking about the number of tuberculosis cases.
Correct.
So it's terrible that at this point we're still having uncoordinated strategies. And 2030 is just staring us in the face. So it will be a disaster, if indeed this ends up to be mission unaccomplished.
Absolutely.
So we do hope that the appropriate authorities are listening, and something will be done.
All right.
This.
Do we have time for one more paper? We have to run now. All right. It looks like we have to go. And that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayoride.
And I'm Temitope Fagbemi. From our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria, enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your